Hare Krishna, Namaste, Chapter 18, Sloka 66, Part 5. Sarva-dharmān parityajya, mām ekaṁ śaraṇaṁ vraja, ahaṁ sarva-pāpebhyo, mokṣayiṣyāmi ma śucaḥ. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. In the first explanation, we learned that Arjuna was worried about his sanchita karma. Unless one's sanchita karma is removed, the person cannot attain moksha. For that, Krishna guaranteed, Ma sucaḥ, do not worry, I will remove your sanchita karma when you are ready to leave this body, when you don't need to take birth again due to your prarabdha karma. And in the second explanation, from the previous session, we learned that Arjuna's worry is not about sanchita karma, but about some of his prarabdha karma, which becomes an obstacle for him to even start bhakti yoga. Now let's continue from that point. Hearing this one, Krishna said to Arjuna, what is the problem? Why can't you remove your karmas? There are ways by which you can nullify the karmas. It is called atonement, prāyachitta. Arjuna responded, Krishna, if I have to remove my sins by performing prāyachitta, it will be very difficult because the prāyachitta are many and my karmas are many. Both are anantam, unlimited, and it will take many years, not only this lifetime, it may take many lifetimes for me to get rid of my karmas. So Arjuna's worry is about the means that was explained in the previous sloka, the upaya, that is manmana bhavamat bhakta, because the bhakti virodhi, that is the enemy of bhakti, must be cleared for one to start bhakti. Clearing them is not an easy process, it's challenging. Secondly, the time to achieve the end result, the phalam, which is to attain the lotus feet of the Lord, seems way too long. So one has to deal with the bhakti virodhi. One has to wait for a long time to attain the Lord. So the bhakti yoga should be of sarva-pāpebhyo and then atyartha bhavat priya. Sarva-pāpebhyo means free from those sins which stands as an obstacle for one to start the bhakti. Atyartha bhavat priya, that means a love, an unalloyed love, unflinching love towards the Lord. But that type of love will only take place when one is free from the sins that stays as obstacle in one's bhakti. When a person is sarva-pāpebhyo, he will be able to perform atyartha bhavat priya, unalloyed love towards the Lord. So Krishna's doubt is, I have unlimited, anantam, unlimited sins. Krishna says, well, no problem. If you have unlimited sins, do unlimited atonements, prāyachitta. One may argue saying that if we simply say Keshava just one time, all the sins will get vanished. Yes, there is no doubt in that statement, but we should understand our position. We should know ourselves how capable we are to earn back more than double the time of what we destroyed by chanting Keshava. We accumulate within a given second papa karmas which may take multiple Brahma's lifetime for us to finish that karma. How much ever we experience our karma, how much ever we perform parityajya for those karmas, it is still not easy to get rid of our karmas. Therefore, there are three main concerns that Arjuna has. Number one, if I had just countable papa, say 10, 100 or 1000, I will be able to do equivalent prayachita, respective prayachita, and escape from all the sins. But my sins are anantam, unlimited. I don't even know how many sins I have committed, because it is not just this lifetime. Even in this lifetime, I don't even remember how many I committed. Then what to speak about my previous janma, which I don't even have a trace of it. And the second point he had is, if I had just one prayachita for all of my sins, unlimited sins, I would have escaped. But that's not the case either. It is always 1-to-1. If I have 100 papa karmas, then I have to do 100 prayachita karmas respectively to each of them. So there is nothing as one prayachita for my ananta koti karmas. Then his third point concern is, if I had ananta ayushu, long life, then I could probably perform ananta prayachita, unlimited atonement, and I can escape. But I have alpa ayushu, very less time left in this body. So these are the three problems for me, Krishna. It is not easy to cross over these karmas. I have to suffer for them. Therefore, Krishna, it looks like I am not eligible to even start Bhakti Yoga. From this, we can understand Arjuna's worries are in its proximity. It is not something after a long period. He wants to start Bhakti Yoga, but for him to start Bhakti Yoga, he has some obstacles. These obstacles are virodhi, enemies for him to start Bhakti Yoga. And these virodhis are nothing but his papa karmas. Though Arjuna is ready to accept Krishna's instruction from the previous sloka, he is unable to proceed further because he knows that he has obstacles on his path to bhakti. If he wants to deal with his papa karmas, then he has to do prayachita, atonements. But for him to do prayachita, he had three problems. He had unlimited, uncountable papa. Therefore, he needs to perform unlimited, uncountable prayachitas to escape from the obstacles, which seems not possible. Then he thought, maybe if there is one prayachita for all the unlimited papa, he could do it. But he couldn't find anything like that. And then he thought, if I lived longer period, then probably I can deal with my karmas by performing unlimited prayachita. But my lifespan is very short. I won't be able to do that. For this reason, for this worries that Arjuna had, Krishna spoke this sloka, sarva-dharmān parityajya mam ekaṁ śaraṇaṁ vraja, ahaṁ sarva-pāpebhyo mokṣayiṣyāmi ma śucaḥ. Krishna told Arjuna, do not worry about these bhakti virodhis. If you surrender unto me, I will remove all the obstacles in the path of bhakti. Therefore, you can successfully perform your bhakti yoga and finally attain me. Now an important question comes. Is it true that there are bhakti virodhi in the form of papa for one to start bhakti towards Krishna? First, let's understand that the bhakti yoga that Krishna is mentioning in the Bhagavad Gita is way different than what we think as Bhakti Yoga is. The spiritual modes of meditation and worship, which when practiced leads directly or indirectly to the Supreme Lord, is said to be Brahma Vidyas. Brahma means the absolute truth. Vidya, the word Vidya, which derived from root Vitt, meaning to know, to learn, in general has many divisions, like 4 Vedas, 6 Upangas, Mīmāṁsās, Nyaya Shastra, Dharma Shastra, Puranas, but it is very clearly proclaimed that only that learning which helps us to escape from this samsara and to attain the lotus feet of the Lord, said to be true Vidya, knowledge, learning. Savidya vimuktaye, that Vidya, that knowledge will release us from this samsara. Krishna also mentioned the same in the 10th chapter, 32nd sloka, Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam. The subject matter, the knowledge of self, is the true Vidya. The 3 major scriptures, the Upanishads, the Brahma Sutras, and the Bhagavad Gita, refers to 32 such Brahma Vidyas that will lead one to the Supreme Lord. They take the forms of meditation and worship with utmost faith and great intensity. That Brahma Vidya is said to be the secret teachings within the scriptures, especially the Upanishads. And there are 32 Vidyas. A person who is knowledgeable enough to realize that he should act in his life to put an end to the cycle of birth and death becomes deserving of experience the love of God. And it is only such a person who seeks one of the Vidyas towards constant meditation of the Lord. Just to name some Vidyas: Gayatri Vidya, Akshara Vidya, Akasha Vidya, Sadvidya, Antaraditya Vidya, Bhauma Vidya, Madhu Vidya, Purusha Vidya, Udgita Vidya, Panchagni Vidya, Dahara Vidya, Nachiketagni Vidya, Shandilya Vidya, and so forth. For those who are curious and interested to know more about these 32 Brahma Vidyas, there are books available that they can refer to, or approach a learned person and gain some insight on these Vidyas. The point that we shared this one is to make things clear that when Krishna says Arjuna to start Bhakti Yoga and gave a glimpse of what that is in 65th sloka, it is all about these Vidyas. In what various ways one can meditate upon the Supreme Lord, and in what other ways that one can worship the Lord and pay their obeisances to the Lord. But the true Bhakti is, as we learnt in 65th sloka, it has to be constant, consistent, uninterrupted. But for one to do that, there are obstacles in the path of Bhakti that has to be removed. So the question is it true that there are some obstacle in the form of sins which stops us proceeding in the path of Bhakti? Answer is yes. In the Vishnu Dharma, it is said, Vignayitena Govinde Trinan Bhaktir Nivartyate. One's Krishna Bhakti is blocked due to thousands of obstacles. In the Lagu Vishnu Purana, it is said, Janmantara Sahasrena Tapodhyana Samadhibihi Naranam Kshina Papanam Krishne Bhakti Prajayate. It is only when all the sins are cleared, the Bhakti takes place. And for that clearance to happen, one has to perform Karma Jnana Yogas for several lifetimes. And this is what Krishna also said in the 7th chapter, 19th sloka. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan ma prapatyate vasudeva sarvam iti sa mahatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Throughout our presentation in the Bhagavad Gita, we often heard that karma-jnana bhakti has to be performed for one to attain mukti. So we assume that all these three will happen in the same lifetime. First few years I perform karma yoga, and after that for some years I will perform jnana yoga, and after that I'll start performing bhakti yoga and then attain mukti. Somehow we have this idea, but the reality is one has to perform karma yoga for hundreds of lifetimes, janmāntara sahasreshu, and by doing so the bhakti arambha virodhi, the obstacles which is in the path of bhakti will vanish. After that the bhakti sprouts and one will be able to perform bhakti yoga. Let's make a note that this only addresses the bhakti arambha virodhi, but not the moksha virodhi, which is the sanchita karma. That will be removed only through the upasana mahatmyam, by the bhakti yoga itself. So one has to gain knowledge about Atma, then one performs karma yoga. That karma yoga has to be performed for several lifetimes, and that leads one to bhakti yoga, and that bhakti yoga has to be performed several lifetimes, and finally one attains liberation, mukti. At this point we can conclude that this is something not going to happen at all. So that is why Arjuna is fearing, how am I going to remove all my sins? It appears to be mission impossible. This brought him a lot of worries. It is only if we are able to remove our sins through the process of parityajya, or by going through the experiences of the sins, by taking many lives, we will be able to destroy the obstacles in the path of bhakti, the bhakti arambha virodhi. We can do so, but there's a problem, because I don't know what janma I'm going to take in my next life, in my future life. Good if I've been born as a human, but if I've born as any other living entity, then I won't be able to perform my karma yoga. Not only that, I must suffer for my karmas. At the same time, I will be accumulating more karmas. So the process of parityajya to nullify the reactions of my sinful actions is never going to end. Arjuna was in great anxiety and worries. To remove Arjuna's anxiety and worries, Krishna spoke this sloka, sarva-dharmān parityajya ekaṁ śaraṇaṁ vraja, ahaṁ sarva-pāpebhyo mokṣayiṣyāmi ma śucaḥ. If Arjuna was a surrendered soul, then there is no need for this fear, because the Lord will take the responsibility to take care whatever it needs to make sure that Arjuna is liberated. But this is not the case. Arjuna is still thinking he has to deal with his problems. So Arjuna's fear is, how is he going to remove all the sins by performing so many parityajya karma? And Krishna says, you surrender to me and I will take care of those sins, those obstacles. In that way, you don't need to do parityajya karmas. This is the second explanation, but now we have to see how this explanation fit into the sloka, word by word. That we will do in our next session. Thank you. Hare Krishna.